So this in just a few minutes ago, human remains have been found at this construction site in Thembisa. I was speaking to Heidi Giokos. She was live outside the scene a little bit earlier. It was at one of the shopping centres badly affected during the unrest of July 2021. Let's now bring Heidi, who's come back to studio to bring us the latest on this. And hi, Heidi. We're going to speak to, or rather hear from, the two members of the families that you spoke to. Heartbreaking. Just terrible to watch the fact they're not getting any answers. But the news of a body found, what do we know?
Yes, so we do understand that this particular shopping centre, Thembisa Plaza, was severely impacted during the July unrest in 2021. And what we know is that looting was taking place in the ShopRite and a number of other shops. But the ShopRite was severely affected because it's understood that a gas cylinder exploded and a fire broke out, and those that were inside the ShopRite got basically trapped inside and tragically lost their lives. Initially, the number we had been receiving from family members was that there were 13 that were unaccounted for. But we do understand that some bodies were retrieved and families were able to bury their loved ones. But what we know and understand on authority is the fact that there are between 6 to 7 bodies that are still inside the ShopRite. Family members have come forward and have pleaded with authorities to assist them to get through this particular shop so that they can get the remains of their loved ones, so they can finally close this chapter. It's difficult for authorities to get in because we know that there was severe infrastructure damage when that fire broke out. And we saw pathologists on scene today. We do understand that 1 body has been retrieved and there could still be 6 inside the ShopRite. Again, it's very difficult for this to happen, for the bodies to be retrieved because of the infrastructure damage, because of the state of that particular shop. But that does not justify families having to wait a year and a half, almost 2 years later, for answers, for any kind of indication as to what's going on, or any explanation, because families are saying, nothing has been communicated to us.
Apart from the communication, there's been none of it. It's been a complete disaster for communication. And I'll tell you why I find it to be a difficult version of events to understand. That it's because of the danger of the infrastructure. We've seen in KZN big shopping centres there that were possibly even more badly damaged, almost gutted essentially, not only having been rebuilt, but then have also opened up safely to customers. So a year and a half to get into a ShopRite Checkers and retrieve these bodies is simply unacceptable. And we understand then, and you're going to talk to us about this, I understand not just the sadness, but also the anger from 2 people that you spoke to.
Yes, so the one lady we spoke to, she tragically lost her mother, and the other man unfortunately lost his wife, and both have expressed great sadness and frustration and anger, and they are saying that a year and a half later they've received no communication. They got some kind of indication when we approached them and said to them, we're hearing that construction might start. Does this mean that you've been communicated with? Have the bodies been retrieved? And they had no idea.
They found out because of you?
Yes, because we approached them and said, are you willing to engage with us so that we can understand what's been communicated to you? And they said, we have no idea what you're talking about. And what was so heartbreaking today was that they were both standing outside the Thembisa Plaza. The gates were locked. They were not permitted to go inside, as was the media. We were not allowed to go inside. And they're watching and looking at the situation unfold. They're seeing pathologists go in. They're seeing the van leave. Nothing has been communicated to them. And us as the media had to say, 1 body has been retrieved, but you're going to have to approach the police to find out when the DNA will be back so you can know who this individual was.
And who told you that 1 body had been retrieved? Sorry, but forgive me, because you were all standing outside the gate. We came to you live about an hour ago, and we could see where what we now know to be a forensic van was quite a distance from you, and you were standing near the only opening. So who told you that they've retrieved the body?
The police, because the police, of course, were on scene. And they, of course, cannot speak on camera. It needs to go through national communication. Sure. But they have indicated to us that they are on scene, they are assessing the situation, and they have been told, according to what pathologists have found, that 1 body has been retrieved. We got a chance to speak to 2 family members who are desperate for answers. They just want closure, and they just want to be able to have whatever is left of their loved ones so that they can go back home and bury their loved ones and have some kind of dignified send-off, because right now they have absolutely nothing. Let's listen to what these 2 family members had to say to us.
It's nearly 2 years now, and we haven't found my mother. We had to go to Mozambique last year in December just to do a ceremony for my mother because we haven't found her remains, and that's very sad for us. And the police haven't done anything, so it's very heartbreaking.
Do you believe that your mother is inside that shop, right?
Yeah, I do believe she is there, inside there, because she hasn't came back home ever since.
I want to ask you about how difficult this is all for you, especially because it's a year and a half on, moving into 2 years. You haven't really received much communication from government, and now you're seeing some action here. This can't be easy for you.
It's not easy. It's not, because we were supposed to have buried my mother a long time ago, but since she has been inside there and no one cared to at least do something, even the police to update us, nothing.
So the police haven't called you to say
No. We didn't know that this was happening today. The police didn't even inform us.
Maybe just tell us about how difficult it is for you moving forward. You did mention that you had to go to Mozambique last year and have some kind of burial for your mother without her remains. That must be really hard for you, and I'm sure you have a lot of anger towards officials because they've waited so long for this to conclude and to give you the closure that you need.
Exactly, because now it's 2 years without her body, and it is just insane for the authorities to just throw their hands on us and do absolutely nothing about it, because it is a human being that's in there, a mother.
Have you had any message for authorities? And I know it's not easy for you, but maybe just tell us if you had a message for them to understand the pain that you and your family are going through. What do you want them to? Do you want them to speed up the process? What are you hoping they do?
All I'm hoping is that we get our mother and we have a proper burial for her, and I really hope that this speeds up that process, as we are going so much right now, and because it is just too much. Closed wounds are being opened right now.
Because usually I'm not feeling falling away in Kabakalaring. I get the Boroka. Maybe Salabamu never somewhere still more. So it's painful like an Ahanakan to you this because sometimes I know I got a Falabam Butcher where is my mind. So I get the border more. Kalelula Maja Lelo Rakasburni. So ish I can fall. At least in Gabimukumana. Lengamukumana Loro Rovich. Len Nacha de Lungeta Falamoy. Gets the boring. Musadiaka Rovechim. Levana Vakabushi keep up on check. Mali now, or a bit more than a back. So, Popelo Camuano, Le Lord Pegasania Gor, who visual have seen the gig in Chilio. Get a candle on a phone. More especially the Salomon, so Piki Pucharas are 2 different regionally. So, Fage, the Premier Ranch Fage. So, an Antanga Gira or Rovich get up to him with him. Mrehola Nakopala Kimokuma, Kimulo Mohe, Motomola Banabaka, Otastropam Puchishari, Mauka, Gartabeki speech of Malungo.
It's that story, especially from Caiaphas, where he's talking about his children, his 4 children, I think it is, Heidi, that are left behind asking, when's mommy coming home? And he just doesn't know what to say.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say, Gareth. It's not easy. Hearing people really just want answers from government, and there's just no answer. We've heard from the SAPs in the province and nationally that They are currently investigating. And my question for government is, what are you investigating? You have family members live on TV crying their hearts out and telling you that their loved ones are inside there and they just want their remains to send them off in a dignified manner. We do understand that they will continue with their investigations, and they will most likely retrieve more bodies in the next coming days. And I think what really broke my heart was the fact that he's left with 4 children, set of twins, 8 years old, and he doesn't have the heart to tell them that their mother's not coming back.
And I suppose as we end this in what can only be a possible twisted fate of relief, no doubts both of those people you spoke to are probably praying this hour that the remains found is their family. Yes,
when they saw the pathologists coming out, and then they asked me, what was said to you? What did the police tell you? Can you tell us what's going on? Nobody's talking to us. And I said, surely the police should have phoned you to inform you that a body has been found. And they said, nothing has been communicated to us. Please, can you just let us know if it's our family? And I said, you're going to have to go to the police and find out what's going on. I think what's even more heartbreaking from the story, Gareth, is that we do know that there's a massive DNA backlog, and DNA is going to have to be conducted, because if we think about this physically, there is nothing. It's probably just going to be very little that they were able to retrieve, and DNA testing is going to have to be conducted, which might mean another delay.
Yeah, I can imagine the secondary trauma involved in this as well. I think the absolute failure, though, is on behalf of the police and authorities. As you say, what are you investigating? Everyone knows what's happening at that centre, and they're investigating. Investigating what? That's the question. But the news from Thembisa, human remains have been found there. The real sad part of the whole incident, though, is that Heidi Giokos had to find out for the family what was actually going on. But my thanks to Heidi Giokos. I'm sure a full report from her again a little bit later today.